The planet Virex 9 had long been a quiet outpost, tucked in the rim of the Azerian Reach. Its inhabitants were scholars, engineers, and a few guards posted only as a formality. Their work was peaceful, observing deep space anomalies and running simulations on wormhole behavior. War was a concept spoken of in distant echoes, something that happened to others, in long-forgotten border disputes. That peace shattered when the sky tore open. Unknown vessels, black as space itself, descended from orbit without warning. They bore no insignias, no language, no standard beacons. Within minutes, the communication hubs were silent. The first wave leveled half the colony, and the second moved methodically, dragging civilians from their bunkers, running tests, executing with indifference. The governor of the outpost, an old Azerian named Creel, had no weapons to fight back. But he had one desperate option, a forbidden protocol buried in a forgotten database. An ancient communication line, never used. It was labeled D-level priority, Earth, Deathworld class, 5. It was a code word most considered myth. Earth had not been heard from in decades. Some claimed humanity had gone silent on purpose. Others whispered they'd gone extinct. But with his city burning and thousands dying, Creel didn't hesitate. He activated the link, spoke into the void, and begged for help. SOS. This is Virex 9. We are under attack by unknown hostiles. We are unarmed. Civilians dying. Please, if anyone hears this. Earth, humanity, anyone, please respond. We need help. Then, silence. For hours. Until one message came back, cold and brief. Acknowledged. The governor blinked at the terminal. That was all. One word. No ship. No promise. He thought perhaps it was a glitch. Or a cruel joke from the enemy. But a part of him, something primal, felt a chill at the voice. It wasn't synthetic. It wasn't automated. It was human. And it was angry. 3 standard days passed. The invaders had entrenched themselves. The skies were theirs. Whatever force had come, it was advanced, unknown weapons, void shields, and no pattern to their attacks. They didn't seem interested in conquest or resources, only extermination. Then, the stars changed. Virex 9's moon began to eclipse the sun, but the shadow wasn't natural. It was metal. A ship emerged from behind the system's asteroid belt. Unlike anything in the Azerian archives. No translation beacons. No registry. Just a black spearhead longer than any capital ship ever built in the Reach. Its name burned in crimson along its hull, HSF Revenant. The alien invaders turned their guns toward it. A fleet of them, over 50 ships, launched into orbit to intercept. The Revenant didn't fire first. It transmitted a message on all channels. This system issued a distress signal. You are not welcome here. Stand down or be destroyed. The enemy fleet responded with weapons fire. The Revenant didn't dodge. It absorbed. Energy beams struck its hull and vanished. Kinetic rounds detonated before impact. Then, the Revenant fired. A single pulse. Not a missile. Not a laser. Something new. It passed through every hostile ship in orbit. And they folded. Like paper consumed by flame. In less than a minute, the enemy fleet was gone. Silent. Scattered debris rained into the upper atmosphere. From the surface, the few survivors of Virex 9 looked to the sky and saw only the Revenant hovering above. Silent. Watching. More ships followed. Not many, just 7. But each bore the same insignia. A jagged earth, wrapped in a serpent of fire. No words. No flags. Deathworlder fleets didn't invade. They responded. The people of Virex 9 expected an occupying force, a military declaration, or at the very least, a demand for tribute. Instead, nothing came for several hours. The massive human warships hung in the sky like silent judges, unmoving, unreadable. Then, a single drop pod descended. It landed without ceremony near the ruins of the Central Command Center, steam hissing from its joints. Governor Creel, with trembling claws, approached with what remained of his guards. The pod opened slowly, revealing a tall human clad in black armor that shimmered with strange energy. No insignia, no rank, just a visor glowing faint red. The human stepped forward, unarmed. Governor Creel. The voice came through the translator. Calm, measured, terrifying. You received our distress signal? Creel asked, barely believing the words. We did. Why did you come? He asked. Humanity hasn't answered any calls in decades. The human paused. We listen to all distress calls. We only answer the ones no one else can. Creel's eyes widened. We thought Earth was gone. Forgotten. The human's helmet tilted slightly. Earth is alive. Watching. Prepared. Creel swallowed. Who were they? The ones who attacked us. Uncatalogued extragalactic force. Your archives call them shades. We call them prey. You destroyed them all. Not yet, the human replied. Before Creel could speak again, the human raised a small device. A holographic image of the surrounding sector appeared. Red dots blinked. More invader ships, bases, and signals across nearby systems. We will hunt them, the human said, voice colder now. Every last one. And us? Creel asked. What happens to Virex 9? The human looked around at the burning ruins. You rebuild. And you remember who came when no one else would. Then the human walked back to the pod. Creel stood frozen. Not a conqueror. Not a savior. Something else. Something worse, for the enemy. Above, the Revenant began to move again. Its engines flared in silence, and it turned toward the stars. The hunt had begun. Across the neighboring systems, the presence of the invaders had spread like a disease. Remote colonies stopped responding. Trade routes went dark. Patrols sent to investigate never returned. And in the growing silence, fear took root across the sector. But now, something hunted the hunters. The Revenant and its escort fleet moved with terrifying purpose. They didn't follow known warp lanes. They cut through gravitational currents like blades through cloth, arriving in systems weeks ahead of what the laws of physics should have allowed. Their strikes were silent and brutal. In the Yali system, a mining station infested by invaders was cleansed in under 4 minutes. Sensor logs later showed only a single flash of light, then complete silence. In the Lestrani Reach, a refugee flotilla was encircled by invader cruisers. The flotilla broadcast a cry for help, expecting to be torn apart. The humans arrived within 90 seconds. No warnings. No diplomacy. Just fire. The invader ships were torn apart by rail slugs the size of buildings, accelerated to near-light speeds. One of the refugees, a young Sharon technician, watched through a viewport as the black human warship glided past the debris field. No cheers. No signals. The humans didn't stay to receive thanks. They simply moved on. Word began to spread in whispers. The Deathworlders were back. Governments that once dismissed Earth as isolationist or extinct now opened ancient diplomatic channels. Some tried to send envoys. Most got no response. A few received only 2 words. Not yet. The invaders, who had begun their campaign as predators, were now prey. They started fleeing systems they had already taken. But the Revenant didn't just chase. They anticipated. Every jump made by the enemy was intercepted. Every outpost they tried to reinforce became their grave. And still, no one knew the full extent of the Deathworlder fleet. Only fragments were seen. Only whispers heard. Until the skies of Drexion Prime tore open. Drexion Prime had been one of the last holdouts of the invading force, a massive fortress, their command center in the region. The enemy had entrenched there, confident that their defenses were impenetrable. But the Revenant didn't come alone. It brought others. From deep space, dozens of human warships decloaked, forming a dark net around the planet. Each ship was unique, some sleek, others brutish, all black. And then, the final arrival, a structure that eclipsed the system's sun for 30 whole seconds. A Deathworlder forge, a mobile command citadel. When the attack began, it wasn't just military, it was surgical. Human cyber warfare AIs shut down the planetary grid in seconds. Dropships fell like meteors. Drones flooded enemy tunnels. Orbital kinetic rods fell from the sky, silent and devastating. The fortress didn't fall. It was erased. And for the first time, a message was broadcast not just to Virex 9, but across the entire sector. This war is no longer yours. The Deathworlder fleet will cleanse what you could not. You are advised to remain clear of infected systems. Observe, learn, and remember. The message was short, brutal, and final. The galaxy had seen Deathworlders fight in myths and classified reports. Now, they were watching it unfold in real time. Silence swept the region in the aftermath. For the first time in months, systems once thought lost began to stir with cautious life. Old beacons reignited. Faint signals from hidden survivors reached into the void. But what filled those signals wasn't hope. It was awe, terror, reverence. The Deathworlders had come and gone like a myth made real. On Virex 9, Governor Creel stood atop a tower of rebuilt stone and alloy, watching the horizon. In the distance, a new communication center buzzed to life, built with human-provided blueprints. Their message had been clear: no alliances, no rewards expected. Just knowledge left behind, and a single warning. Prepare. Next time, they may not be the only ones who come. Creel had asked the human envoy, a woman with storm-gray eyes and a voice like thunder, why they had chosen to act. Her answer was simple: because it started with Earth once. And we remember. Galactic powers began shifting. Fleets returned to their homeworlds and rewrote their doctrines. Scholars reopened restricted files on Deathworlder physiology, behavior, and history. Some tried to explain the humans' actions as strategic or political. But in quiet meetings, high-ranking generals admitted a darker truth. They had simply forgotten what Deathworlders were capable of. And now they knew. Children across the galaxy told stories of silent ships and warriors in shadowed armor. Some feared the humans would come for them next. Others, especially those whose worlds were saved, whispered different stories. They dreamed of joining the humans, learning from them, standing beside them. But humanity didn't extend invitations. They didn't recruit. They didn't need to. In the outer edges of the sector, far from prying eyes, the Revenant drifted once more in silence. Its crew maintained their vigil, eyes ever toward deep space. The forge hung nearby, massive and implacable, while smaller warships executed drills with terrifying precision. In the command deck, Captain Arlen watched as the last embers of the invaded systems were cleansed. "Report," he said. "All invader activity neutralized," his XO replied. "No survivors. No transmissions. No trace left. And the fleet, standing by for new assignment." Arlen nodded. Then, after a moment of silence, he added, "We answered this call. There will be others. Log it." "Aye, Captain." The Revenant turned slowly, its engines flaring. As the stars stretched around it, Arlen whispered to himself, "Let them remember what it means when Deathworlders answer." And then, just like that, they vanished once more into the black. The story was over. But the legend was just beginning.